there. Thanks for joining us. We are in the Sisteration room at Woman Unsilenced. My name is Lynette Cookie Williams. Please call me Cookie. Lynette Williams is a reference, for all of those concerned or interested. So I am your host and founder of Woman Unsilenced. Woman Unsilenced is a women's organization that serves to empower our trauma-impacted sisters with the tools and support to help our sisters regain her sense of self-worth. Nothing like re-entering society from a trauma and having no way to turn and nobody to talk to and nobody quite gets it or understands. We understand here. We may not understand your particular story, but we'll help you with some tools and support to see you through it, because that's the win, getting through it. And tonight, on Thursday nights in the Sisteration room at Woman Unsilenced, we have prison reentry. Prison reentry nights, we discuss the premise of prison reentry on Thursday nights here in the Sisteration room is to bridge the gap between society and our returning citizens, because we all do the time together, not just your mother and your sister, your brother, but the community does the time with you or with us, I should say, because I'm definitely part of that community of returning. And it's in saying that the outside doesn't understand what the inside had to deal with or how to even relate sometimes in bridging that gap, and vice versa. The inside, as we're coming home, we don't understand what you had to deal with while you were home waiting for us, or while you were home trying to put a carpet back up under you, a cushion back up under you so you can just live this life in the free world. So understanding that the two worlds need to come together and have a conversation is needless to say, but we talk about it here. And so tonight we have with us a trap queen from BET Plus, American Gangster Trap Queen. She and I share the throne with other trap queens. And so if you haven't seen her episode, and if you haven't seen mine, please tune in, subscribe. The trial is free. Check it out. I don't need to say any more on that note, but check out our episodes and continue to support. And I appreciate you being here. Tall Pumps, I see you, my sister. Happy hood evening to you. The Twitch streets are on fire. I see you out there in YouTube and Facebook. I appreciate your support out there. Okay, so we can bring on my sister. I'm not going to do an introduction like I do for Dr. Witherspoon and Raina Ryan, the psychotherapist, because that's a whole other type of program. This right here, we're gonna talk and we're gonna kick it. And here she is. Her name is Demi Harrison. Lovely Mimi is what they call her.
Hey. Hi. Hey, Cookie, you look so beautiful.
Look at you, beautiful. I'm so happy to see you.
Same to you, likewise.
Yes. How you doing?
I'm feeling good, and I'm smiling now. And I'm sitting here with my queen sister. So,
okay.
Yes.
Okay. We made it through.
Yes, made it through. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I love these. I do these. I'm going to try to get one of us on every first Thursday, and I've been successful with it so far for the past, I think, 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
But most of them have been from our season. I had one from season 1, I think. Ayana Bean. She was here from season 1. She's a good sister, and we stay in touch. And so all of those things are good. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself for about 1 or 2 minutes, and then we are going to get started. And, I got questions.
Okay.
The chat has questions.
I'm Demetria Mimi Harrison. I was born in Omaha, Nebraska, by way of Kansas City, Missouri. I moved there to Kansas City, Missouri as a teenager, and now I reside in Atlanta, Georgia. I have a Boss Status Publishing Company. I am a 3 times author, and I also own Mimi's Wellness, where health is wealth. and I'm the CMOS boss.
Oh,
I have 3 children and 10 grandkids,
ooh,
and yeah,
you
and
said 10.
yeah, you would never know.
Right, right, right. That's
Yes,
awesome.
yes. So
That's awesome. That's
that's pretty
awesome.
much about me. Now I'm on seasons 3, Trap Queens with my queen
Yes,
sister. What are you? Episode 7?
I'm 7 and you're 10.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Wow, that was an experience, huh?
Yes, it really was. I
That was
had
an
to go
experience.
back and relive things, and you know it.
And
But it was like it was a lesson and a blessing as well.
yeah, what was it like, Mimi? Going back and reliving some of that stuff because you had been home. They caught me when I first came. They caught me. They got me on when I first, kind of came home. So wasn't quite where I am today, mentally, emotionally, or otherwise. Um, but you had been home for a while. You had pulled yourself back together and started living again. So,
Um,
so what was it like to actually go back? Because they take you back.
yeah, yeah. Well, when I went back, pretty much, I had wrote a book. I have an autobiography on my life. It's called "She's Just Like Me."
Mm.
So it pretty much took me into the book and everything that was really going on. But what hit most, my mom passed November 2020 of COVID.
Oh,
So to relive that and have to go through that with so much with my mom, and actually even filming why she had just passed away,
oh,
that
wow.
was the hardest part for me.
Wow. Yeah, I can. Oh, no, I can't imagine. But that sounds hard. That sounds hard. So I have a place that I like to start. Um, if we segue, it's fine because we'll get there. I'll make sure I'll bring us back. You said you started out life in Omaha, Nebraska,
Yes.
and then you moved to Atlanta. How old were you when you moved to Atlanta?
No, I moved to Kansas at like
Kansas, Kansas. I'm
12
sorry.
to 13. I moved to Kansas City, Missouri. No,
Okay.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, Kansas City.
Missouri, the show
Got
me state. Yeah.
Kansas City, Missouri. Got
Yes.
you. Big
Yes.
difference. So,
Yes, the difference.
so you were 12, 13 years old when you moved there,
Yes.
and you had both your parents with you.
No, that when we moved to Kansas City, my mom and dad had just divorced. So my mom, when they divorced and her job transferred, and then it was us moving alone, and he had
Mm-hmm.
started another family.
Mm.
Know how that go? Let me turn this fan on. I'm sorry.
That's
You
okay.
know how that go.
Right, right. So did your dad move to Kansas City, Missouri with you guys? No, just
No, he
you.
stayed in Nebraska, and I, from him, after they divorced, I had 3 sisters, siblings from my dad, and he never came. He always stayed. He's still in Omaha, Nebraska.
Really?
Yes,
Wow, wow. And what was that like when you guys moved? Because they say moving moving when the kids are teenagers is not, it's kind of a trying time potentially.
it was so different because like in Nebraska, it was more like family oriented. Everyone had a mom and a dad, so it was like now my dad and mom is getting divorced. I'm moving to Kansas City where everybody has like just it's a single parent or in the house besides like my auntie who I went down there with. So now being rebellious because I don't really my mom is working so much, my dad's not around, and now I'm with my sister, so it's just easier to move around and do whatever I want to do. So that took me into that life of doing other things because in Kansas City, we're Church of God in Christ. My mom, they never smoked, they never drank, they didn't cuss, they didn't do anything. So I wasn't accustomed to the life that I got into when I got to Kansas
That
City.
shows. Another one of our sisters is a similar situation. Um, Miss T, Tanya Taylor.
Uh huh.
We had her on. Same thing. Both parents. Her life. as a child, didn't bring her to that space. We could definitely tap that a little bit deeper at another point in time,
Okay.
because I also came from a two-parent household, feeling like, believing that my childhood didn't affect my journey to prison, if you will, because these things kind of somewhere along the line kind of happen, or
Right.
lead you down that road, right? But I had realized that it did have something to do with it, and I had a picture perfect childhood from the outside looking in.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
which I chose to believe was really that, until I started helping sisters pull their life together, and helping them through their trauma. And I became a certified life coach, and I'm just listening, and I'm like, wow, okay. So, Cookie, stop believing your hype, because your life wasn't that perfect when you were a child. It just wasn't.
Right.
There's a lot of things that I decided that were non issues. So I turned them off, because I can do that. I
Exactly.
can do that. I can get me through. So, long story short, I was just saying, so just coming up now, as a single mom, with your single mom now, raising you guys, and your mom, I understood, worked all the time, right?
Yes, all the time. She was a pathologist, and it's like she just worked and worked. And after they got divorced, well, she remarried.
Hmm.
She did remarry, but now it's not my dad, and now not my, she's with her new husband, and I'm going on my way with my big sister. My sister, I have a sister, Charlesette. She's 6 years older than me,
Mm,
so I took to her, and I always stayed with her. So I was doing whatever I wanted to do at this point.
wow, wow.
Yes.
And you was doing the damn thing.
Yeah, off the chain. Ooh. Thank God I'm alive. Thank God we are alive,
Yeah, yeah.
alive and free.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right. So, now, so your sister, you said, now, did your sister do anything to try and stop you from choosing the road you chose?
No, because
Not
I
that
mean,
it's her fault, or any that, not that she's complicit in your in your choices, but at 13, how much choice were you capable of making?
so 13, I guess, still at 13, I'm shoplifting. So it really, it's like she might see it. I'm hanging with my best friend, which she was a white girl, and we shoplifting. And really, my sister would be like, "Oh, bring me something back, or I'm gonna tell on you." So it was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get her something, and I can do what I want to do."
Now, did that feel like attention?
Did it feel like what?
That you would get any attention that you needed or wanted? I'm just reaching for this.
You know something, Cookie, I don't think I never did it at that time. I didn't do it for attention. I just seen other things that wasn't in Omaha. So I might look on TV and the golfers are wearing Izod. And
Hmm.
the kids at school really not wearing it. A few of them, and I see this. So I wanted it. I wanted it for me. I didn't care if they didn't even know what it was, some of them. So, I seen it and I wanted it.
Right,
I
right.
didn't know what it was. I just know it was something better than what I mean, my mom, we always had good things. So
Mhm.
it was I had credit cards at that age, everything. So I did see it, but everybody didn't get to see that. So I wanted more. She wasn't gonna keep buying it. So I started stealing it, and my sister, she knew.
So at 13 years old, now I saw your episode. So at 13 years old, you had credit cards. What do you mean you had credit cards at 13 years old?
Well, I didn't have credit cards. My mom had credit cards, and she would send me out. She would send me out to shop on my own. Like my dad would give me $300 and $400. My mom would give me a credit card, like just to go shopping for school, and say spend $300 or $400. I might spend like 600, and she gonna whoop me. In the crazy part, it might be 600, but it might be two or three pieces. And she like, who do you think you are? And I'm like, well, you doing it, but she had a job. I did it. So
And that was mommy, right?
exactly. So,
Wow, wow. That's what we do. That's what we do. And so now, so when you was getting all of this, when you was shoplifting and what, how did you, drugs? How'd that go? And you know what? Let me tell you something first. Let me tell you something first before we even get into that. You know what intrigues me so much about your story is how you went from. Now, most people don't. The how you went from drug dealing to white collar scamming. Like, who does that? I mean, sis, most of us have a lane. You know what I mean? But you
yeah.
just went there, and it's intriguing to me because it's exactly what I want to um, address with young people when I speak to them. You know,
Mhm.
that only see the street, or hustlers that only see the street. It's like you can cross over into a legitimate world and exist
Yeah.
legitimately. It's a product, not to turn the legitimate and make it illegitimate, but I'm talking about you can a lot of our drug dealing hustlers in the street, they don't realize that you can bring that same mentality, that same structure, and bring it into a legitimate world.
Yeah, but the main thing with that, I say you got to change your mindset to even
So
do that. So
yeah.
when your thoughts is and it's second nature for you to just go get some money and it's the instant gratification of it, you really don't care what hustle you gonna do. You just gonna go get some money and it's like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. As long as I get this money and it's coming rapidly and fast, it's like I don't care, I'm going to get it. So
Mm,
that's the thing. Once you change your mindset, that's when that's the only way you gonna go legit once your mind and your thoughts change. And
and
that's
once
what it had to do for me.
Yeah, yeah. And once it does, well, you had a jump start because you had that hustle. You still had that street hustle. You was going to get some money, and you
Yes.
went straight into. So that took you into uh, um, a white collar life. Let's put it that way. Let's just call it that. But
Hmm.
you didn't go into it legitimately. You went into it as a hustle and a scam. So when our street hustlers actually want to cross over into a legitimate world, and they're struggling with changing their mindset, that's that space where I want to jump in there and show them, look, you got a product, you got supply, and you got
Yeah.
demand. I can see it because I'm a businesswoman. I can see that you have a product. You got a whole structure here. You got lieutenants, which we call directors. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
you got the the dude in charge, which is the CEO. I mean, it's really, but the mindset, like you said, has to change. So how did we go from the street hustle girl to the scam? I just talk about it.
so so this the crazy part for one.
Hmm.
The street hustle really never stopped. It
Mm,
it it never stopped. It's just so now I get pregnant. I get pregnant 2000 and I need to not be selling drugs. Then I meet my daughter's father, which tell me, "Oh, you doing this and you doing that." Which he met me, I was selling drugs or whatever. So I'm having a baby. You need to sit down. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna take care of you. I try to be a good woman.
right.
So it goes with my mindset. Oh, okay. I gotta hook up doing flights. So that ain't as bad as selling drugs, which is all bad.
Right.
But it's like, oh, I'm just sitting here. I don't have anyone's credit card. I'm just using calling with a credit card. So our mindset is, oh, I'm not swiping a credit card, even though I might call a scammer that's in the store a scammer and a robber because they in the store swiping, but not know me not thinking I'm right on the airline. I'm at hotels, everything doing the same thing. I'm just not swiping. So my mindset was like, oh, I ain't doing as bad as them. But look, I'm clearing out $300,000 and $400,000 credit cards. So I'm worse than them. So
Mm.
it's crazy.
It really is. Not that your stuff ain't no crazier than mine,
I know. I
but you
yeah.
know, but to hear it, it's like that was a whole headspace that you put yourself in, and I
Hmm.
can relate to that.
Hmm.
You know, like when and oh, girl, we got another space that like, and I'm gonna talk about it, but first I'm gonna check on my chat. You know, let me
Okay,
just check on my chat
no
because
problem.
woo, that was let me write that because that was a whole headspace, the mentality of how we put other people in that space, but not us.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Rebel, how you doing, Rebel? Thanks for coming. Unknown Dreamer, how you doing? Hey, Celeste. This is the chat over in the Twitch streets because you know Twitch streets is busy. I love my Twitch. Um, Kai Chick is in the house. Curious Ja, that's a moderator's Curious Ja and Tall Pumps. Thank y'all for being here. Y'all make the show just it feels so much different when you guys are here. It's somebody to rely on, and I love it. Absolutely. And the Rebel, how you doing, Rebel? Thanks for coming in, sis. Celeste, I see you. And yeah. So I want to talk about the mentality, that headspace that we put ourselves in, that but we don't see it that way for other people, and why are they doing such and such and such, and you don't even consider what you're doing to
Yeah.
be a crime at all. It's like you're just taking a risk, but it's a whole crime. That and we also share that space with our sons, which is like for me that was just completely I mean, that's the worst mistake, the worst wrong I've ever committed in my life. The worst wrong. And but how did you? We talking about you now. So how did you? And for those that don't know, for those out there that are watching and don't know, I myself have spent time. Well, we're on the show together. Not on the show together, but we're in. She has her episode. I have my episode, and I'm also an American Gangster Trap Queen. And on BET Plus, tune in and subscribe and watch these extraordinary stories of women that made such whew, bad judgment, such bad judgment, such smart women that made bad judgment calls and just did the crazy, you know, got caught and and are here now, you know, living life in the right way. And to God be the glory, He brought us back strong enough to win in the right. So I said all that to say, in 2012, I pled guilty to charges of white collar fraud and was sentenced to 10 years, and I served that time. And I am just coming home in 2000, well, 2020, but I was actually released in 2021, in March of 2021. So yeah, that part. All right, sister. I want you to talk about it. Talk about, you could start wherever you want, but bring your baby into it. Your oldest, your son.
My son.
Yeah.
So, you know, the same with you. My son was indicted with me, and that was so hard because you know now I got these attorneys telling me, you know, you about to get 15, you about to get 20 years. You need to cooperate because we're about to take your son down. And now it's like I'm sitting here telling my son, you know, I done got my son in this mess, and I'm still like, I'm not gonna tell on nobody. You got to go to prison, but it's my fault. So it's like, man, what do I do? But then I'm praying. I'm like, he didn't do anything, but I know he did. He's still indicted. So I prayed on it. I asked my son to forgive me. They called me a monster to my son, and in the end, I'm like, son, they gonna give us what they gonna give us, and there's nothing I can do. And the thing with my son, he had been with his father. My son is like, I have a really good son that don't run around. He got a bunch of kids, but he don't run around packing guns and doing doing a bunch of crazy mess. So for me to get him in, have him going federal, it wasn't cool. And I to this day, that's one thing I still apologize to him from. And he's like, it's okay, mama, but it wasn't. And
Right.
no one should pull their kids into any type of lifestyle like that. It's
Say
not
that again.
cool.
Right, right.
Ain't
And
no
it's
way I pulled him in that.
right, right. So how have you been have you forgiven yourself?
Oh yes,
Good.
absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
What
I
did you
have
learn in
no
that?
regrets. No, I forgave myself. I asked my mother for forgiveness, my dad. I prayed to God, and whoever else can't forgive me after that, after I forgave myself, I don't know what to say or do. Because
That's
I could, if I didn't forgive myself, I wouldn't heal.
that's right. That's right. You can't come back if you don't forgive yourself. That for me, that was the hardest part of coming back. Was forgiving myself.
Hmm.
You know, I asked for forgiveness for my sons, wrote letters to them. Um, but forgiving myself was super hard. And you know, in when you're away, you guys, when you're in prison, y'all think y'all got church out here in the street. Baby, you don't know church till you get behind those walls.
Don't.
Fire and now the fire in the church is real. Like
Yes,
you
it
could almost see flames in the church. It's so real. It's so raw. You know, all the forgiveness and all of the just all that stuff, you know, all of that self-righteousness, all that shit just coming out. And
is.
you know, and then you got, and I'm talking about not just from one person, I'm talking about like from like everybody. It's just pouring out. It's almost like you can see sin, like you could see it with your own eyes, you know. And so you said you grew up in the church, and I know you know what I mean. I know you
Yes,
know the difference in church inside and church outside.
yes. And I think in prison, some of us, I'm not going to say all of us, some of us take responsibility, and, we get our mind right, so we get to accepting responsibility. Like even when I was in prison with my youngest daughter, it hurt me so bad at first that she told me I disappointed her. But
Yeah.
she was 11 years old when I left, so I had to be like, what can I say but make it right? I only can make it right. So people have to learn that too. Like, oh, they're mad because I'm gone, and they shouldn't be like that. Why shouldn't they be? Because, like you said, I heard you say when they first came on,
Hmm.
we affect them just like they affect, they
Right.
affect us, we affect them.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah.
Right. Go ahead. Don't stop though. Go ahead.
I,
Because that,
I
because
think I cut in on you, so go ahead. I'm
no, no,
sorry.
no, 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 no. I want you to continue because you was talking about your baby. Now you was talking about she was 11 years old. You know,
Yes.
and
So
and
I got sentenced as well 2016.
hmm
And I was sentenced to 7.5 years, which I did 5. So 2012, at the end of 16, I was released because I did RDAT, but it was so hard. Like my baby she went through it, like not feeling loved. 2005, her dad was murdered. So um, I'm gone. Her dad is gone. Now, she's between my mom and my daughter in Florida, and it's like it affected her so much. So it was like you hurting me. And at first I was mad to hear it, but in the end I understood. And like I said, we all have to learn that when before we even consider going to prison, we got to think about the ones that we leaving behind, because they need us. We need them, and they need us. And with me, it was always, I'm doing this for y'all. It was for me.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
another thing, we got to quit saying this for you. No, it's not. Them kids want love. They
That's
want
it.
us at home.
Listen, let's pause right there for a whole minute. Let's pause for a whole minute. One of my friends that did an interview on my episode, she said very honestly, and we didn't have this conversation. She said Cookie wanted a better life for her children, but she wanted it for herself too. And
Right.
my friend is so sweet. You know what I mean? Um, she's a real sweetheart. But when she said that, I was like, yeah, I did. I did. I definitely wanted to live a life. And the thing, my situation was a little bit different because I had already started making money. So, to take it to that next level, you know what I mean? To that $1 million level, to those 7 to 8 digits, that was for me. And that was where the line crossed. That's where I crossed the line. But I do want to say right here and now, your niece is like, I love you, Auntie Mimi. What's her name? Boss Savvy. How you doing, Boss Savvy? She's
Hi.
she's out there supporting you.
Oh,
She said
thank
she's
you.
so
I
proud
love
of you.
her too.
Yeah, she said she's so proud of you.
Thank
And
you.
that makes the difference when the family is supportive.
Yes, and
That
that's the
makes the
thing. Like
difference.
with me in prison, I had my mom. She
Hmm.
came all the time because I was in Florida, like right by her house. Um, my best friend, which is sitting here next to me right now, she's in town from Honduras
Wow, how you
because
doing, friend?
we're involved with Usha as well. So she's in town. So she's my
Um,
business partner as well for my boss status. But
is Usha? Is that the name of your company?
no, Usha is Dr. Sabi.
Oh, Dr.
I'm
Sebi.
partnered
Okay.
with Usha with some of my herbs.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yes.
you gotta join us on every first Tuesday. We have Dr. Witherspoon.
Okay.
Yeah, she's alive and well, and
Okay.
she's a nutritionist, and she gives us all types of advice about breast cancer prevention. Eating what foods to the combination and all of that good stuff. So that's awesome.
So you'll have to have my best friend on live from Usha one day because live
Absolutely.
from Honduras.
Wow, for sure, for
She's a
sure.
herbalist and the master gardener and everything. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow, that's
yes.
awesome. So
So, but what I'm sorry, what I was saying is, I had visits all the time.
hmm
So I watch women that had no visits. I had women that got no mail, and even I mean, the RDAP program.
right.
It was times like you have to go to mail no matter what. So you in there a year and a half and you never get mail. Think how that feels for somebody to not ever get mail or visits. That's why I tell people before you go to prison, think. You have to think because that's the first thing we holler. Oh, they not there for us. No one owes us anything. So that's the first thing we got to start looking at. We can't. Oh, nobody is obligated to hold us down. Thank God they do, but people have to quit thinking that I'm going to jail and they need to be here for me. That's not the case.
Well,
And
that's
they
good.
won't be. They'll say free you on Facebook and everything. They not gonna see you a dime, and they're not coming to see you.
That part. So at some point though, you do kind of hope that the humanness kind of kicks in. And when I say that is that the extending of a hand. You know, um, because I'm quite sure you extended your hand.
Yes, and that's where women like us came in and helped other women and talked to them, and like because a lot of them didn't have family. A lot of them had. I watch women actually in Coleman live right like 30 minutes away, live right in Tampa, and no one came. So, like I said, you have to pick your battles, stay out of jail.
That's right. That's
And
right.
for these young women, and we have a lot of women, Cookie, a lot of younger females. I tell them, and the first thing they say is, I want to, I know you've heard this all the time. I wanted to be like, or I want to be just like you. And I tell them, no, you don't.
Mm-mm.
Because I went through hell and high water. So, no, you don't. Be better than me
Mm-hmm.
and get out.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just posted, I posted this one of these clips that that BT did. You know, they put one of these clips together, and I almost didn't post it. Honestly, it's the last post on my IG, and I almost didn't post it because it sounded like glorifying. It did sound like, you know, like I was glorifying the amount of money made, and it didn't come from my mouth, but still, you know. So I almost didn't put it up there. But the caption that I put under it was lesson: don't covet thy neighbor. You know, no,
Hmm.
you don't want to live like somebody else. Don't want to be like somebody else. You want to be yourself.
That's
You want
right.
to be yourself. And the only person that can quantify whether or not you are being better than her, he, or she is yourself.
That's
And
right.
so don't compare yourself. Just do you. Just do you. And if you do you, you'll stand more of a chance of staying on the right path and staying in that lane. And I'm saying that specifically for my, if in my particular case, I was always one of those people that if you make a left turn and you know you're not supposed to do it, you gonna get caught. That's just the kind of person you are. It's somebody gonna see you, you going down. I don't care what it is, you know. And so it was just one time in my life I was like, you know what? I'm going for it. I'm gonna risk
Right.
it all, and I'm going in. But in my particular, I did not think that any prison would be attached to it.
Me either. I
I
know I should have, but I didn't think.
Yeah,
I
I
kept
didn't.
throwing prison. I kept throwing rocks at the penitentiary.
Yeah.
I was like,
See,
hey, they keep catching everybody else. I'ma just switch hustles.
you
That didn't
And
work.
now, since you went there, I'm gonna talk about that. Let's talk about
Okay.
that. You switched hustles, and you didn't get caught up in your drug hustle. You got caught up in your white collar hustle.
Hmm.
And so when at that particular point, I was like, ends up, you know, I saw the episode, and I was like, wow. Now, if that ain't compounded interest, and you want to tell them what I'm talking about when I say compounded interest.
Just going from. You mean going
I'm
through?
talking about how they tried to stack your stack charges and bring up
Oh, they
that.
stacked them. So this is the thing. I was on a four indictment. It was four people on my indictment from
Mm,
Kansas City. I got this big 36 indictment from. I called one person. I did call one person in Chicago, which she was caught up on a case. I
hmm.
called someone in Kansas City, I mean in California for another flight. See, at this point, I'm not doing flights. I'm back kind of like a good girl. So I'm
Right.
not doing anything, but I'm trying to help.
Hmm.
So I called this person, but they want me and now they want them. So it put me on a 36 count indictment that I'm I'm number one on my indictment. I'm number four on the Chicago indictment and number 10 on another one. But the whole thing was they wanted me for drugs. They like, you're a drug dealer. They
Hmm.
like you. That's the crazy part. It's like we don't even care about these flights for real. You just give us a couple of names of these drug dealers, and we gonna
Mm.
let you go. I mean, you'll get a year and a day. You don't do that, you gonna come out with 10 years or something. I'm like, oh wow, yes.
Wow.
So they play with you hard. So I mean, I see how hard easy it is to tell on somebody. That's why I tell people too, if you can't do the crime, don't do the time because they coming. I mean, don't do the time, don't do the crime because they coming and
Right.
and they coming and they gonna make you they gonna try to make you talk. So
And the feds come hard. There's no question about it.
yes.
They come way harder than the state. In the state, you got a chance of living, you know.
Yes.
But the feds, you don't. And once you, well, I don't even want to say that just in case, because you know, Big Brother be listening. So just know that the feds don't play. They're gonna get what they intend to get, and if you don't give it to them, you're gonna pay. And so you paid, sister, I paid. At the end of the day, that's owning yours. That's why I said at the end of on one of my on one of those commandments, own your shit. Own your shit. You know what I mean? It's like it frees you. You know, there's nothing more freeing than owning what you did. Once you own it, you can move past it. Once you own it, you could ask for forgiveness. You can be forgiven, you know. But
Right.
you sit in that stuff and you start saying, "Well, so and so and so and so and so and so." Okay, all that stuff
Blame game.
because they're gonna come back to you again and again and again. You're not gonna rest because you said so and so and so and so the first time, because they're gonna come back
Exactly.
again. And
That
what you
they
said
coming
about
in they are come David, my best friend, they told me they wanted me to tell on my best friend and everything. I'm like, well, if y'all didn't indict her, why would I say anything if she was doing something with me? Do you think I'm gonna tell on her? But it's like,
right?
no, you need to talk about her because we know no. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. They use us as pawns to
Mhm.
get to somebody else. So that's the thing with people that they gotta know also, Cookie. Your friend is gonna tell on you.
Mhm.
One of your friends, one of them, are just they're going to tell on you. If they can be solid as hell right now, when them alphabet boys come, you go. They one of them is going to be your CI number two.
And let me tell you, and what they don't know is that we can read all of the CI info you gave up.
Yes, yes, exactly.
That's right.
So
And
don't do it. Just stay home and just it's so many opportunities of running businesses of your own now. It's just better to do something legit than
mhm,
that prison. It get worse
definitely,
and worse.
it definitely isn't.
And it's not easy coming out. It's worse even coming out, because there it goes again. The expectations that you want somebody to help you. Nobody's might not be helping you. And now you feel alone. And there goes the blame game again. And a lot of people go back to jail for that reason as well. Like, oh, didn't nobody help me? So I did what I had to do, and now they back in prison calling like blaming you again because they back in prison.
Yes, let me say hello to this chat. That's right, though, sis. Let's bring that back. One time, I'm looking at this chat and I see my sister pastor, Harriet Jenwright, that was in we were in Alderson. She's saying there's always a price to pay for the decisions we make, always. And when you can pay that price, pay it. If it's your cost, pay it. Pay your debt. Pay your debt. So yes, Sister Jen, it's so good to see you, Pastor Jen. Right, so good to see you in the chat. I miss you, Candle Lady 40. How are you? Thanks for coming through. Stirs the soul. How you doing, bruh? How you in chat, brother? And I don't see a question from you yet. Stirs the soul always has a question for us. Indeed. So but yeah, sis, you were saying that oh, who took care of your baby when you were gone? She's a hot boss lady. I know. Yeah, I miss you. I miss you too.
Well, my mother, she stayed in Florida like 2 years with my mother, and two and a half with my mom, two and a half with my daughter, which my daughter had her own son to raise, and she was young as well, but they stepped up. My daughter brought her to see me. And when I came home, they were all waiting outside that gate for me. So that was the blessing.
That was beautiful. Let me ask you about Stir says you know me too well. Let me ask you about coming home. Now I understand you had the support, but again, how did the interaction happen when you came home? Because 4 years is not a short time. I mean, I know I did 10, but four ain't a short time either. any
Yeah.
any time in prison is trauma attached to it. So I
Right.
never want people to compare. Oh, well, I didn't do nothing compared to you. I know you. No, 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 no. If
That's
that
true.
wasn't, if you go in there, you were affected.
Right. Yes. 4 years, 8 months. It,
Yeah.
it was when I came home. So when I first came home, I live here in Atlanta. So the first part, I couldn't get back home. to my children. They made me go. They denied my reentry to Atlanta because I was from Kansas City. So it went to, oh, you have to go to Kansas City, or you could go to Omaha or Florida where your mom or dad live. I had to go with a parent, or yes, or back to Kansas City, which is I feel was a setup.
It
So thank
was.
God I moved. I went to Florida with my mother for a year. So thank God I did that because I got my mind right. I gained a whole bunch of weight. Yeah, and I was totally isolated.
Yeah.
And it was beach time for 6 months. I was on house arrest. So it was so stressful because just say I want to go to the beach. I had 4 hours to go there, back, and be at the beach. And
I
I,
knew.
so it was stressful. I had to try to get passes in the end to go see my children, and it was stressful. And I couldn't get a job. You know, the jobs there all were $10 and $9, and so when you done sold all these drugs, I couldn't smoke weed. I was stressed because I mean I smoked before I left, so I was kind of stressed out. I'm like, I'm gonna start back smoking weed. I wanted to start back selling weed. I wanted to do everything, and
Did
I
you?
keep praying to
Wow.
stay focused.
So you were able to focus out there
Yes,
where they made you go back to.
yes. And
You
so
know,
by the
some
time,
hmm
go
no,
ahead.
baby, go ahead. I'm sorry, honey. Go ahead.
I got back to Atlanta, it was to where I was pretty much settled. I'm down here shopping at Belk's and Target. So I'm getting my mind right to not go back into this life of buying these Gucci bags. So by the time I come back to Atlanta, it's like I got to make something happen. Now
Yeah.
I'm cleaning celebrities' houses. I didn't care what it was. I just wasn't going back to selling drugs.
Right, right, right. Wow. You said a lot just now. You said you're shopping at Target, you're shopping at Belk's. It's funny how, let me tell you, thrifting became something that I did.
Hmm.
Thrifting is next level, though, I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
Thrifting is next level. My daughter-in-law has a whole thrift, they have a thrifting business, her and my son. And it's like, you get the best things. You look like $1 million coming out the house in some in thrifted stuff. Because they don't. Well, she knows how to thrift. You know, that's her
Right.
business. That's their business. So but you said Targets and Belks, and it's like what I recalled when you said that is that um less is okay.
Yes.
Less is okay. Less is okay for a time. I'll say for a time, it's okay. You know,
Right. And like what is less?
yeah, it's less than what you had. I can identify it,
Yeah. Yes.
but but I'm saying that
Yep.
to say until first of all, I'm going to say for someone like me, I'm going to persevere until I get to a place where I feel like um I've made some strides and I've made some accomplishments, right? Where exactly that is, I don't know. Will I make millions of dollars again? I don't know. I might. Will I be satisfied at that point? I don't know. However, what I do know is that I will keep striving and I will keep satisfying my soul, but legitimately.
That's right.
You know,
Contentment.
right, and
Contentment. Peace.
doing what's on my heart to do. This, trust and believe, I ain't making no money doing this. But this is on my heart, and this is how
Hmm.
I can reach people, and
Yeah.
so it's my choice, and that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes less is more.
Hmm. You're a blessing to so many, because so many can relate and need to hear these things. So
Mhm.
you're a blessing to me because your story, it touched my heart because it was so much. I mean, like mine with your son,
Yeah,
everything. So
yeah, it
yeah.
was similar. It was a similar. And the thing about our stories, and the thing about doing these podcasts and stuff, and communicating with my sister queens or other sister queens that are not on the show, is there's so much that people keep bottled up inside, especially in our community. We don't want to tell. I'm sitting in the house on the hill. You know what I'm saying? Just fabulous life. Nobody knows what I'm doing because I'm not talking about what I'm doing. Everybody knew I was in real estate. You know what I mean?
Right.
But nobody knew the burden that I carried as I was making this money. Nobody knew because I didn't need for anybody to know. It was, um, but as we go through, damn, I lost my train of thought. But at the end of the day, we don't talk about stuff. Our community doesn't
Mhm.
talk about stuff, so we
No.
just we just go through stuff. And
Yep.
I noticed a little something on my back here, like it's like I'm looking a little hunched.
We really go
Because
through
we
stuff.
carry most of our stress back here, right?
Hmm.
And so that's what this is about. This is not about anything other than it reaching somebody that hasn't made the mistake yet
That's
or
right.
hasn't made that wrong turn yet.
Hmm.
If you're watching, maybe you might think twice, because I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you a whole 100%. 10 years is real. I couldn't
Mm.
even. I couldn't. I'm a smart girl. I couldn't even calculate what
That's a
the hell
long time.
120 months was in my head when the judge said it. I said, "What the wahoo?" I didn't even have a response because I'm thinking, that's 12. I don't know, 12 weeks, maybe 12 hours. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right. And
prison wasn't part of my story.
right. And welcome home and doing what you doing. It's like it's so crazy because it's like people come home from prison and I watch people that's never been to prison and we come home and we try to make things happen. So blessings to you because you are fresh home.
Yeah.
Blessings to you, and you
Thank
have
you,
so much
sister.
more to come to you. I already know and I
Thank you,
see it.
sister.
So I just wanted to say that.
And you don't even have any idea what my day was like, but I needed that. I needed that. I needed that. I needed that. I needed the recognition from
Mhm.
somebody that gets it, that
Yes.
knows that I am just coming home.
Just
And
fresh.
and I needed that recognition for
Mhm.
myself. You
Yes.
know what I'm talking about. And I'll be more clear to people that have no idea as to what I'm talking about. Because the same thing that I tell, when I'm in my coaching sessions, we don't compare ourselves to other people.
Mhm.
When you compare yourself to other people, you add burden to yourself. You add nothing but weight and you begin to oppress yourself. So that's not what you want to do. But these podcasts and the circle that I keep, it's about fellowshipping. You know what I mean? It's about fellowshipping because no matter what it appears to be, I've been through some shit.
Right.
And
That's right.
you've been through some shit. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to be reminded not of where you've been, but just be reminded of where you're headed and that it's going to take time to get there. You're not going to get there overnight.
Mhm.
And so, I appreciate you because I really needed that.
Thank you.
Yes. And I love doing my podcast. And so I always get something from it.
Yeah.
I want to read something that your niece just wrote. And she says, growing up, I had no idea my auntie was such a boss. I loved her and her daughter Mika from the moment I met from the moment I met them when I was like 5 or 6. Now Mika and I are 34 years old and we are family forever. I can't tell y'all enough how much I love you all. Might not be blood, but we family always.
Yes, and I know who it is, and it's so special because she's a white girl, and
Yeah.
it's like she's always been by my side. She's gonna, if I don't know, nobody's gonna share something about for me. She's gonna share it. She's my family. I love her, and I appreciate it because, like you said, sometimes we don't get the recognition, and hey, but like you said, we pat ourselves on the back, and you pat yourself on the back too because
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the love right now. The love, the hate, it all comes with all the territory.
And look, it all comes from the same place, right?
Yes,
Somebody's journey.
that's right.
Yep. And the hate usually comes from somebody's journey that's not willing to share their own.
Good treat.
You heard.
Treat.
Okay.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Pastor Jen Rice. She says you don't look like what you've been through. This is the look of God's grace. Amazing grace,
But
right?
God. But
I'm
God.
telling
Thank
you,
you,
but
Lord.
God, that's right. She said, "No, I'm Mexican, just a pale Mexican."
Oh yeah, Mexican. I'm sorry. I know that. I'm sorry.
Oh God, no, that's good. Whew, girl, this is I'm enjoying this just this conversation with you, and I definitely want to congratulate you on your success and what you're doing now and where you're headed, and I want you to tell us about your products that you have, and I wish you had brought your son or your daughter. I should have said that before.
Yeah, he would. They would have got on too. We
Yeah.
will next time for sure.
Oh, good. I'm glad there's going to be a next time.
Yes, it's the next time. I really enjoyed. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah. And tell us what is your you have a link tree
Yes, I have a link tree.
where they can get to everything.
Yes, and I guess can I do I put it on? Yes, I have a
I
link
don't know
tree.
if you
I
can do that.
I guess I can put the somehow put the link. I think I had
Yeah.
sent the link to you, so I
Did
do
you
have
send
a
it to
link
me?
tree. I thought I did. I may have not, but I think my PR may have emailed it.
Let's see. Let's see. Whew.
But it's a link tree. But the wellness, I also have a Mimi's.net for the wellness. So I sell CMOS. I sell wellness products. And if you guys haven't heard of CMOS, it is 92 of the 102 minerals that your body needs. It does everything. I mean, for everything. If you have high blood pressure, aching bones, stamina, mental clarity, it will help you do everything. And I also have several different herbs. I have herbs from Usha Village, from Honduras, and follow me on Instagram, Mimi's Wellness,
Yes.
and Facebook, Mimi's Wellness.
So your mom got to see your legitimate success, right?
Yes,
Did
she
she?
did. She did. Thank you, Lord.
That's
So,
awesome.
I did a couple of, when I first came home, I did a couple of podcasts. I did a radio show that she sat in. So she actually heard the story as well. So she knows everything. And it was so crazy that she sat there and threw it off. She always told me, I still love you no matter what. She said we all make mistakes. The thing is, some people got caught and some didn't.
Right, right, right. And we definitely know that, right? And what about your dad?
He's just, oh, Mimi, he didn't know anything. He was asking, like, why would you even be on a show called a gangster? Like, I don't understand what is going on. I said, all I can tell you, remember you said when I was 16 or 17, he would ask, like, why are these people in Omaha calling you a drug dealer? I said, just think about that. I said, you know nothing about that. Just tell about me as a kid. So they love me regardless. That's the blessing.
Yeah. The name of the show was kind of can be off-putting.
Yes. American trap queen. I mean, American gangster, but
Yeah, yeah,
it
it
is what
can
it
be
is.
off-putting, especially when you're trying to move forward and you want to get to what the good stuff that you're doing now, and they keep
Yes.
you're an American gangster, you're a trap queen, and it's like, God. And then they say
Yes.
congratulations, God bless them, because I guess they're saying congratulations on the journey or whatever, but
Yes.
it just sounds funny when somebody says, American gangster trap, congratulations. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you know.
It's the redemption
Yes,
that
it
we
is.
made it out. That's how
Yeah,
I feel. So
it is. No, it definitely is. And I chose to accept when I knew that Judge Mathis was behind it, because I knew that he was about women, and and them progressing and moving forward, doing good things. So I said,
Right.
okay, I can attach myself to this, and
Yes.
and let TV have its way with the gangster.
That's right.
And that is how that rolled out. Okay,
Yes.
so and we got it was such a pleasure to have you. It's like, wow, I don't
Thank
even want to let
you.
you go.
I
How
appreciate
what
you. Thank
what
you so much.
what you I'm gonna ask you what you want to what do you want to say to the people, because usually we're like, we move on into the 9 o'clock hour with it. I want
Okay.
to take your time and you know what is it that you want the people to know about having lived that life, and take your time with it.
Okay. Um, First of all, I mean, I say this and I'll just say it. If I had to do it all again, I wouldn't. It's my journey. So if you can get out of the game, if you going through something, if you running around, ladies, for one, ladies, I'll say this for the young ladies. If you have a guy, the first thing we do with guys, they give us guns. This is for you younger ladies. And the first thing they say is, when the police get behind y'all, take my gun. I got a warrant. You'll be okay. Stop doing that for your guys. You're gonna
Mm,
go to prison. That's an
mm,
easy way to go to prison. Another way, stop holding their drugs. If you're not in it, I mean, a man will put you into their business and they will throw that on you. If you letting a man do that to you, blame yourself. That's the thing. For everything you do, the consequences. Just know you have a choice. We have choices. So that's the first thing I say. Make the right choices because in the end, the consequences is hell. You're going to go to jail. If you're doing something wrong, you're going to die or you're going to go to jail. Get out the game. Get Just invest, do whatever you have to do. Go punch that clock. Some of us don't like doing 9 to 5s. I don't like working a 9 to 5, but if once I got out of jail and I didn't have a way to make any money, I'm going to punch a clock. So stop saying I'm not going to punch a clock. I need a business. Just anything to stay out of prison. That's all I got to say. Do it and stay out of prison. The game don't love nobody. That's
mm,
all I have to say.
mm. Yeah, that was good stuff. That was good stuff. And you know what? That just reminded me of the coldest winter ever, right?
Hmm.
So I'm gonna say, when you go pick up Mimi's book, which is
She's just like me.
She's Just Like Me, pick up The Coldest Winter Ever as well. That's a great book. That one's by Sister Soldier,
The
and
best.
yeah, yeah, because she
My
spoke.
favorite book. That's my favorite book ever.
It's so easy to end up in prison. It's like people don't realize how easy it is to end up in prison. It's
And
so
we
easy.
blame. And that's the first thing we do. We blame everybody else. So we have a choice to not to make these decisions. So that's what we gotta just get with women or younger men, whoever older and all, just to let them know we have choices and we just gotta make the right choices.
Yes, yes, and then when you make the wrong choice, accept that you made the wrong choice.
Hmm.
Own your shit.
Accept it.
Accept it.
Accept it. Hmm.
And that's the hardest part, acceptance.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part for sure. Thank you guys. Mimi, I appreciate you. I'm gonna sit here and I'm
Thank
gonna kick it
you.
with my chat. Um,
Okay.
People out there on Facebook, you're welcome to stay on board. And if not, we will see you the next time, because I'm going to have all of us back on here. We're just going to have a whole symposium. You know what I mean? And we'll bring. I'm going to. I don't know which trap queen we're bringing on next month, first Thursday, but we definitely are going to get to it, and they'll be here, and hopefully, Mimi, you'll support and come
Most definitely.
watch the stream and continue supporting, because I appreciate you. I wish you had a copy of one of your books. You could show us one of your books,
I do.
and we'll wait.
Yeah, I do. I was going to have it sitting here. I'm about to get it.
Okay, take your time. Yes. Thanks, Candle Lady 40. She's saying, thanks for sharing. So many people need to hear this. And my sister pastor, Jen Wright, says, she's saying to the young ladies, please listen to these voices of wisdom. This is your personal help. She's saying, please listen. Okay. Is that the same? Okay, I can see it. Can y'all see that?
She's
I,
just like me.
she's just like me. And is that by your what, Lovely Mimi, or is it by your?
Demetria Mimi Harrison.
There we go. Okay, so
Yes, my publishing company, Ball Status Publishing.
okay, and is it on Amazon?
Yes, ma'am. And it's
Oh,
on the link tree as well. So when I get off, I'll go on my live and I'll link my link tree um
okay.
into the your podcast.
Awesome. Do that. That would be
And
great.
one more thing, CMOS. Get it in your
Christina.
system. 92. This one is 102 minerals because it's CMOS, bladderwrack, and burdock root. So you guys follow my Mimi's Wellness page and let me get you right where health is well.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna send you some products as well, Lynette.
Okay,
So
sweetheart. I'll be waiting for those.
cookie,
That's right,
cookie.
girl. Call me what it is.
Okay.
I
Thank
appreciate you,
you.
sister. All
Have a
right.
wonderful evening. Thank
You
you guys
too.
for
You
tuning
too.
in. I appreciate it.
Okay, baby. All right.
Okay.
And so to you guys, thanks so much out there in the chat for coming and being here. I appreciate you to pieces. This podcast means a lot to myself and to the people that come on it and to the people that are listening to it. And I will continue to do it for as long as my heart will have it. Um, at the beginning of the broadcast, I didn't mention that I'm a certified life coach with a niche in entrepreneurship, and I'm also certified in mental health first aid. So a lot of my comments come from that certification training that I got when I came home, and the coaching part of my life was is has made me such it's given me what I need in order to help people, because it stops me from imposing my opinion on other people. And I know most of us when we are trying to help our friends and our loved ones, we want to tell them what to do. We want to don't do this, don't do that. And I understand and I get it, because I want to do the same thing. But since coming through the certification courses, I have definitely put that to the side. And in the name of that, my coaching business, my coaching practice is repurposethinking.com. And there we identify, define, so that we can realign our thought process.